This is Natasha De Souza reporting for SALT Voices, and I'm here at SALT Abu Dhabi on day 2 with Chieh Huang, the founder of Boxed, and Daniel Teran, the managing director of Managed by Q. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being with me today. And you had a panel today, I believe.
We
correct?
did. It was quite fun.
Yeah, it was
Where,
great.
I think we looked at the journey of entrepreneurship, and both of you have built viable, tremendously scalable enterprises. Managed by Q went on to be acquired by WeWork earlier this year. You have grown, all
Still
over the
at
United
it.
States, still at it. Take me through a little bit about, I think, when you decided to launch your specific businesses, how you arrived at, that specific pain point and knowing this is the problem that I want to solve.
So for me, it was very personal. Growing up, living in New Jersey, every other weekend you're going to one of the warehouse clubs with your family. And so later on, when I became an adult, I just standing in line, just thinking, oh my gosh, can't someone do this online? This was about 6 years ago. And since then, we started in a garage. And since then, we've sold over $500 million worth of goods. So really caught a pain point that not only I had, but millions of other Americans had, and hopefully millions of other global citizens will have as we expand.
We've all heard of the story of going from the garage to going to households all
This
over
wasn't
America.
the proverbial garage. This was a garage in Edison, New Jersey. Yes.
Literally. So tell me about, I think, when the idea struck you and how long it took you to hack away at it to know that this is something I can build. I can get people to back me and this can grow. So luckily this wasn't our, as a co-founding group, this wasn't our first company. Okay.
And so we had investors that were waiting for kind of our next idea.
So you had a track record.
We had a track record from that first idea to getting our first round of funding. That was probably about 90 days or so for us to just get a little bit of seed funding.
Okay.
And then about a total of 6 months to our first package out the door. And so I remember our first ever package out of the garage, we all signed the inside of the box. And we told the person, keep it, we'll buy it back one day. And then years later, we contacted them and then they didn't keep it. Well, we really wanted to buy it back. Yeah, we didn't think of anything.
Dan, with your business, and I've read a lot about Managed by Q. I think I've even actually once looked at the corporate culture that you have at Managed by Q, which a lot has been written about. But to go from the journey of founding the company to now being acquired by WeWork, how did you identify that white space in terms of the fact that back office operations is a pain point?
Yeah, so actually, Chieh's founding experience sort of speaks to it. I grew up working in New York startups for the last decade, and what I saw was my friends and peers were starting companies, and everyone was struggling with the same sort of basic things around running an office. Mm-hmm. And you had amazing founders and executives like Chieh that were spending more time managing the office than managing the business. Mm-hmm. And so we just saw an opportunity to really build this operating system that made it easy for anyone to run an office. And over time, we've seen kind of this very strong tailwind of people really focus on the workplace as a driver of culture and experience for their employees. And we've really become the system of record for delivering that experience. And so in terms of us being able to scale that up, we've really focused on building software tools that help the workplace team run the day-to-day, sort of modern collaboration-based tools, and then scaling a network of third-party service providers that can help, whether it's unclogging a toilet or fixing the IT or staffing an event. We give workplace teams access to those resources at their fingertips.
Okay, so the stuff that normally you might have a company secretary spending hours on the phone trying to figure out, you just make it as foolproof as possible.
And they can see reviews from other office managers. Okay. They can transact directly on the platform.
It's not even the office manager. Just when we first started, we were. I think we were an early customer as well.
Very much so.
Because from 0 to 100 employees, basically as CEO, you're also the chief office manager as well.
Yes.
And so I just realized I'm spending at least 20% of my day doing all the things that you said, including cleaning, including kind of taking out the trash and doing all this stuff that.
Well, you know what they say when you're a founder, you're driving the car, but you're also washing the wheels.
Oh yeah, that's I like
yes.
what you say.
That's very much true. And for us, my equivalent of you're signing the inside of the box is when things went wrong in the early days, I was showing up to clean the office. And so I had multiple friends later who were like, someone thought they saw you in a Q uniform cleaning our office.
Talk to me a bit about the early days, because that's often when I think you have these high highs and the low lows as well. Yeah. So how have you kind of, I think, also from yourselves, I think creating that kind of resilient mindset to be able to think clearly, cogently, but also creating a team behind you, because you can't go through it alone. Finding that right group of people to be those early in the early part of your journey is vital, because they're each carrying a lot of weightage towards the success of your enterprise. Maybe we'll start with you, Chieh.
Totally. Luckily, as a co-founding group, this was our second company. So some of the mistakes that we made in our first company, we didn't want to repeat this time.
Take me through what one or two of those mistakes
exactly
were
kind of what you
learned
asked in terms of just the ups and downs. So our first company, we would go through the highest of highs and then 6 hours later, the lowest of lows. And so this company is just waking up every day, putting one foot in front of the other, not believing your own BS if you're in the press and you're doing really great things. And also, if you have a tough day, to know that the next day will probably be better. And so that's one of the key lessons that we all learn as a group. And so I think it's been helpful because we also try to corral all the other people that joined the company whom this is their first startup with. And so it's been really good to just have kind of that steady mindset within the company.
And Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I think unlike Chieh, this is really the first big business that I've built, and I think we've learned a lot of the lessons this time around. So it's been about 6 years now, and it's been a long 6 years. I think one of the things that if I could go back in time that I would have told myself to do differently is, as a founder, because you are probably innovative and creative by nature, and you built a team of people that want to solve problems and do things a new way, you got to really be smart about choosing which wheels to reinvent, because the reality is, the things that you need to invest in are the things that matter most to your business and your customer. And so there are certain things where it's okay to do things the way they've been done before. And I think we early on felt like we needed to challenge everything and reinvent everything.
Okay,
and we just wasted a lot of time and energy.
Okay, so maybe abbreviate that desire to be changing and fixing everything.
Yeah, and just figure out where is their leverage in the business, what matters most to my customers, and focus your innovation and your energy there. You don't need to change the way office supplies are made if you're that's not the service that your customer's buying.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Which, by the way, we did.
And look where you are now.
Look
where you are now. Well, on that note, thank you so much, gentlemen, for speaking with me. Thank you for being a part of SALT Abu Dhabi. It's been wonderful speaking with you. Wishing you all the best, and I'm looking forward to following your journey in the future too.
Thank you very
much.
Thank you.